Hey ladies, I've been thinking a lot about how exhausting it can be to be the woman in a relationship.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are diving into a topic that gets overlooked way too often. Why men tend to drain women emotionally, mentally and physically while benefiting the most from relationship. If you ever felt like you are giving away more than you are receiving in your relationship, this one is for you. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe because we need to have this real conversation. So let's get into it, guys. So I've put the videos together so that you watch and learn. I'll be back to share my true sense.
Hey ladies, I've been thinking a lot about how exhausting it can be to be the woman in a relationship, or at least in a straight relationship. I feel like most women can agree that when you are in a relationship with a man, you're doing like 80 to 90% of the emotional labor here. Most men in our society were conditioned and raised to completely ignore and suppress their emotional selves. For most men, and again I said most, not all, for most men, when they are confronted with emotions, they don't know what to do. So they go to work, or they get a hobby, or they start drinking, or they start smoking, anything to not feel a feeling. Then they grow up and get in relationships where you have to have feelings. Not only can you have to have them, you have to communicate them and work through them and find a solution. And y'all don't know how to do that. And it's not 100% your fault. I mean, it is your responsibility, but it's not all your fault that that's the society that we live in where that's your role. But either way, it leaves most women doing the emotional labor for two people all the time, every day. We have to have our feelings, figure out what to do with that, then step outside of ourselves, identify your feelings, figure out what to do with that, and then how to move forward together. Like, that's a lot. Like, men say it all the time. They feel like they're the logical ones and we're the emotional ones. We're the one with all the feelings, and they're the ones that do the providing and the protecting and doing the work and all of that. And whether or not that is inherently true of both genders, it is how we have been socialized for the most part. So at the end of the day, for whatever reason, women do end up doing most of the emotional labor in these relationships. I'd already accepted that this is my fate, this is my role. I don't mind. I'm past it. I'll do it. But that is why I don't have no shame, no problem, no embarrassment, no qualms with saying that I want a man who's going to come in here and pay these bills. None at all. Because you can't put a price tag on all the emotional labor that women have to perform in these relationships. It's priceless, baby. It's priceless. So if I say come in here and pick a bill, baby, you better pick a
the same way that you would find comfort from a 200-pound weight being unshackled from your fucking foot. That's how. The societal expectation for men in relationships is that they get to take. That's why men find comfort in relationships and not a single life. The societal expectation for women in relationships is that they are going to give, oftentimes receiving nothing in return. So you tell me, how do women find comfort in that? Very easily, because they're not being drained by a man, because women have realized that relationships with men happen at their expense. That's why it is better for women to be single than to be with a man just to be with a man, okay? And for men, it is the opposite. It is harder for them to be single, and it is literally easier and still more beneficial for them to get into a relationship, even with a woman that they don't like. That's why a lot of women will spend 5 to 7 to 8 years without a ring because some loser man is telling them that, oh, I just don't believe in marriage and all of that, da 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 da. And then that same man will break up with his girlfriend of 8 years and be engaged in 3 to 6 months because a relationship for a man is just a calculation. It's an expense calculation. It's a money in, money out calculation that benefits them. And now that women have started doing the calculation and saying, oh, you know what? This is actually not worth it for me. It's worth it for you. I can see that. But it's actually not worth it for me. Now men are over here wondering, well, how will women ever find comfort in a single life where they're not being taken advantage of and exploited and used for their labor and used for the intimate pleasures of a man who gives them nothing in return, who gives them no intimate pleasures in return, that they had to get on birth control so that he could enjoy those intimate pleasures, that they have to feed, that they have to clean up after, that they have to think for, literally think for. Oh, well, why didn't you remind me? Why didn't you tell me? I didn't know that was important to you. Look around and think. Why do women have to think for you? Oh, what will women do without men? What will women do when they're not in a relationship? They're gonna be fucking happy. That's what they're gonna do. That's how they're gonna find comfort. Women have friends. Women are not ashamed to make a deep emotional connection with another woman. the way that men are to do with another man. Women will go out and find community because women haven't stigmatized helping other people. Men have. Women are going to pick up a hobby that's infinitely more rewarding, less stressful, and you actually get to take credit for your own hobby. Most women never even get to take credit for how they've built a man up, for how they taught him everything he knows before he takes all of that, then feels like he's leveled up and then leaves them for the next one, leaves them for a woman that he couldn't get before. Relationships are a net loss for women. So how do you find comfort in being single? You might be single as a woman, but at least you are not an unpaid housekeeper, chef, personal planner, escort, all that and more to some loser man for free. That's the comfort. That's the comfort in that. Is you're thinking, I might be alone, but at least I'm not cooking somebody's every meal, cleaning up after them, replacing and fixing things that they've destroyed because of their thoughtlessness, feeling like shit all the time, high cortisol levels, risk of pregnancy, risk of being cheated on, risk of being embarrassed, losing your close friendships, your close family relationships, losing your career, having kids for a man, risk of giving up your education for a man because a man's career is more important. And because, you know, he's going to be the breadwinner someday to another woman that didn't help build him. He's going to take the value that you provided into his life, use it to build himself up, and leave you without your education, without your career, without all the things that you gave up for him. And you know what he's going to say at the end? He's going to say, you didn't have to do any of that. So where do you find comfort? I don't know, ladies, you tell him in the comments, where do you find comfort in a single life? That's exactly where I would find it. For women, being single used to be a threat because it meant you had no access to money or a job or shelter or transportation or protection, anything. Nowadays, if a woman can get a job, what's the threat? What's the threat of being single? There is no threat to a woman of actually being single. You could go out there and get a little bit of dick anytime, for free. And most men can't say that, especially, you know, the bottom 60% of men that y'all talk about. The reason they're so upset about being in the bottom 60% is because they can't go out on the streets and proposition women and women go home with them. Women can do that. That's like the easiest thing for a woman to do. In fact, it's so easy, most women choose not to do it. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Get on a dating app as a woman, you can easily get a hookup. And even within that, why don't most women do that? Because it's still not even rewarding enough. Like, you're still probably not going to have a great time. Men just don't offer anything that women want, unfortunately. It's unattractive. Another really great part of single life as a woman is nobody has unrealistic and lopsided expectations of you versus your man. Nobody's going to be over here telling you, well, it's your fault that your man cheated and you should have looked nicer and you shouldn't have been looking dirty and raggedy all the time, even though he left all the housework for you to do, even though he never lifted a finger to help with the kids. It was still your fault that he had so much fucking time on his hands because you were busy doing every single fucking thing. It was still your fault that he went out and cheated on you. Whereas for men, it's like, oh, she cheated on you, bro? No questions. Kick that hoe out. Divorce her and take everything. You know, it's a completely different response. It's a completely different expectation. Men are not expected to bring cooking, cleaning, child rearing skills into a relationship. Only women are. It's actually very easy to be happier single for women because nobody's telling them that you need to be the bee's knees and a bag of chips. Otherwise, even the most worthless of men won't love you. As for men, the standard is a woman should love you no matter what. And if she doesn't, she's a bitch and a hoe. And women have just been brainwashed by feminism and they just want to take everything from you. Meanwhile, women are literally giving at their own expense. Women have glow ups. Women have better career success. Women live longer outside of relationships with men. I think that's where they find that comfort, if you're wondering. Whereas men fall apart because they're not taught the necessary survival skills. Only women are, and men depend on women for those survival skills. So men are the ones that end up alone and sad and not comfortable. Women end up actually very comfortable because they have all the necessary survival skills, and men don't really provide anything to them that they don't already have on their own other than a little bit of sausage, which they can go out there and get anytime. I'm telling you. They're not very difficult to come by. As a woman, you're supposed to love a man unconditionally. However much money he brings in, women are told to hold men down. In prison, in joblessness, you're told to hold men down. Men are told the more money you have access to better women, you have access to better resources, and women are just part of those resources. So you find comfort in not being a fucking resource to a man. That's the only thing that's been keeping a lot of women from the single life. Women are fine with being single. It's men that aren't. I hope that helps, Adam. Godspeed.
That's the video, guys. So I'm just here to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. Why are relationship training for women but benefit men? Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about household labor. Even in modern relationship, women tend to take on more responsibilities when it comes to cleaning, cooking, and organizing. Studies show that even in two-income households, women still do majority of domestic work. Men benefit because they don't have to think about these things as much. A woman will plan meals, schedule appointments, remind him of his birthday. Basically, she's the household manager while also working and take care of herself. That's draining. So while women are constantly juggling multiple responsibilities, men often get to exist in relationship without taking on the same mental load. Let's not forget the physical aspect. Many women deal with pregnancy, childbirth, and the health risk that comes with them. But even outside of that, women often take care of their partners when they are sick or stressed, making sure they eat well and stay healthy. Yet, when a woman is sick, the care is not always reciprocated in the same way. Women are expected to push through and keep things running, even if they're exhausted. While traditional gender roles suggested that men were the providers, modern women dating has shifted. Women contribute financially just as much, but still often take on additional emotional household burdens. In some cases, women end up financially supporting their partners, whether it's helping them build careers, cover bills, or making sacrifices in their own careers for the sake of the relationship. But what happens when the relationship ends? The man often walks away better off, while the woman has to rebuild from scratch. This pattern exists because how society raises men and women differently. Women are raised to be caregivers, while men are often raised to be or expect care. And in many relationships, men don't realize how much they're benefiting until they lose it. It's not that men are intentionally trying to drain women, it's that they have never had to think about the weight women carry in a relationship. That's why conversation like this are so important. So what's the solution or awareness? The first step, women need to set boundaries, communicate their needs, and stop accepting one-sided relationship. And men, it's time to step up, share the load, and start being equal partners. If you ever feel drained in a relationship, drop a comment below. So, guys, you need to take care of your mental health. If you start feeling dread in a relationship, just know that this is not the right relationship you're into yourself. Okay? You need to be happy in a relationship. You need to find a partner who understands you, which is very important. I know in a relationship or marriage, there's also ups and downs, but you should know, you guys, how to solve your issues. It's very important because guess what happens? You marry a person and this person doesn't even appreciate you, whatever you're doing. You're cleaning the house, you're washing the plates, you're also going for work, you're doing all the duties, you're taking care of the kids, but they don't even see those good works you're doing. You're even taking care of him. You make sure they have food at work, they've eaten, you call them, you make them feel good, all those stuffs. But someone doesn't see them, they just want to mistreat you, they want to treat you like nothing. That's not possible. I think when you feel drained in a relationship, please leave. Okay? Exit very fast because it's not good. Someone who drains you is not a very good person. Is not. You end up dying, you end up being not yourself. You start losing yourself, especially when someone get married. People start losing focus on themselves. They'll stop doing things they love. They quit their hobbies. They quit the traveling. They just want to concentrate because someone said no. Okay, or maybe because they care about the other person too much. I think women have put men so much in front. It's time women they pull back. They need to get back their energy because it's not okay. It's not fine. I've seen a lot of women going through the same, and this doesn't sit well with me. If you're in a relationship, please make sure you're in a healthy one. If it's toxic, please, yeah. Exit. Go faster like never before. Okay? You run faster like never before. Don't look behind. Just run because you need your health. You need your peace. You need your mental health. This is very important. You need to be have peace of mind. You don't have to have a very over controlling partner, someone who treats you like trash, someone who doesn't even appreciate you. It's not right. Choose a partner who's going to be there for you. If you say this marriage is not working, it's not. because you end up being in a situation where you won't even believe yourself, like drained, right? So I've seen someone being so drained because of marriage. It's true that saying you look ugly if you meet the wrong partner. It's true, people have seen someone going angry slowly and going so thin because of marriage pressures. So I think those who are single are better people, right? But being single is a choice, because if you don't make it a choice, you can't manage to be single. All right. So that's the video for today, guys. I don't know what you think. Can you leave a comment for me? Like, tell me what really happened to you. Are you in a relationship of being drained, or have you been experiencing one? Kindly share with us so that we learn from you. And how did you overcome it? And how did maybe it ended? I want to know. So thank you so much for clicking. See you. Bye bye.